tonight's select board meeting, just because it seems like will be the Mass DOT's 25% submittal for Route 112 Asheville Road project. To have a discussion about proposed construction of sidewalks from North Street to the Buckland recreational area. It's all been approved up to there, to the high school, and some citizens have come forward and asked that many like the idea of sidewalks to the Buckland rec, and some just as many the opposite. So we're giving people a chance to speak tonight and on the issue and how they feel. So
You just said the word approved, but the sidewalk had been approved to the
no,
rec?
no, I didn't say that. I said it's been approved up to Mohawk. We said, and but yet we have approved.
So basically we have a design that's been
Yeah, we have a
proposed
design
from
proposed. Yes, thank you. That's a better way of saying it.
25%. No, it's 25.
25.
25%.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, Beth Giannini is here tonight from the FERCog.
Oh, Beth.
She will be able to answer some questions. She's a
She
transportation
probably knows
program
more than we know
manager
about
there.
it. So yes, thank you,
I'm sure
Beth.
this is something that she's been pretty familiar with. And I don't know, Larry, how you wanna sort of, if you want a little background first? or-
Sorry, you can't block the door there. There's a chair
Probably
over
come
here.
Okay.
Perfect.
Blocking it's
Yeah.
not fire safe, is it?
I think you will start. Would you mind giving a little back?
Well, I can give a little
information on this?
background.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
a lot of this happened well before my time, and I
And-
think well before Beth's time.
Yes.
It goes back to, I believe, I've been trying to do a pretty deep dive into notes and select board meeting minutes and so forth. And I found in 2014 where the Buckland Board of Selectmen offered a letter of support for widening the shoulder along Route 112. So that was back in May of 2014. I did find another email where the sidewalks sort of came into play, and that was in 2020, where the town asked that the sidewalks be extended. At some point, they agreed to put them to Mohawk. I'm not sure the timeline. I couldn't find anything for that, but there was another email exchange between Heather, who was the town administrator prior to me, and Mass DOT talking about the sidewalks, asking that they be extended to the Buckland rec area. So that was in 2020. And now, hold on, wait, we'll take questions and stuff in a minute.
Is
Yeah.
there any note of there being any discussion beyond just that email?
It was not that I found, but I, again, I've done somewhat of a deep dive, and I know Beth was gonna try to do a bit of a deep dive too, to reconstruct things and figure out. That email was sort of, had a positive, it was like, we're really excited about this, but I don't know who we were, I don't know if there was a slide deck at one point that was done, I think at a TPO meeting. And TPO is the Transportation Planning Organization, which those meetings are public. It's for the county, FERCog, and I think they come sort of from, DOT runs the meeting, but they sort of come from the FERCog's Zoom account. And I'm assuming there was a presentation at some point back in 2020 that was talking about the project as it moved forward. But this has been, we're now in 2026,
Yeah.
and the project isn't even set at this point to start until 2028.
Right.
And we have the design here, the plans that Mike has in his lap. That was at a 25% public design hearing, which was on April 16th. And then at that point, there were some questions for the engineers. Beth was there. We had folks from Mass DOT were there. Pretty good turnout, I think, of people who were abutters to the project were there. And from that, we've had questions. We've had letters that have come in that have been very supportive and excited. We've had other letters that have come in that have not been as excited and had questions about various, why it was decided the way it was. So that's kind of what's brought us to this point tonight. So I don't know, Beth, if you have anything to add.
So I'll just, Pam did a great job of researching. So my name's Beth Giannini. I work for the Franklin Regional Council of Governments. I'm the Transportation Program Manager. I've been with the Council of Governments for a long time, but I've been in the position I'm in now just since 2022. So in my previous position as the senior transportation planner, I was aware of this project, but I wasn't the point person involved. So I was more of a bystander and knew about the project, but I wasn't the person who was, on the other end of a lot of the emails. That was my predecessor, Maureen Mullaney. So, so I have more of a kind of general, like higher level knowledge of the project, but I don't have all of the like exact details. I do know the project has been around for a long time in discussion. It was a conceptual plan. I can remember it from when I first started working at the COG, which was back in around 2000. And as I said, my predecessor, who was the transportation program manager, her children, she lived in Ashfield, and her children actually they first went to Ashfield Elementary School, and then they went to Mohawk for middle school. And so she spent a lot of time driving on Route 112 and seeing people, kids particularly, walking from the school to go to downtown. So that's, unfortunately, as transportation planners, when you see things like that, you worry about kids walking. And so she, that in combination with the town administrator at the time, which I think even goes back further to Andrea, there was a project that was being developed. And oftentimes, how projects end up developed is we do long-range regional transportation plans, and we have outreach meetings, and people say to us, we need bicycle or pedestrian accommodation on Route 112. We need a connection from Mohawk to downtown. So that's where the projects often get mentioned. Also in like your open space and rec plans, people will often say we want more walking facilities or bicycling facilities. MassDOT proposed, 112 is a road that MassDOT has jurisdiction over, so they proposed a road reconstruction project. And as Pam mentioned, initially we're proposing a wide shoulder, which as a transportation planner, is not the best option for people walking. So we actually, I think professionally as transportation planners, looking out for the safety of people, and also the town administrator, I believe probably at that point it was Heather, really felt that having a sidewalk was the best option, particularly when you have kids walking to school. And so that was something that and at the TPO level also, I can remember having comments when MassDOT was proposing the wide shoulder. Well, that's not great, because when the weather's not good and people are walking in the shoulder, which isn't a great option for walking. So, and I do remember after the project was underway, receiving a lot of comments on the regional level, and also just hearing a lot of comments from people about the project. Well, you're so close, the recreation area is right there. And the town was investing a lot of money and doing improvements at the recreation area. So it seemed like a place that would make, where people would want to walk to and make that connection. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I am not, obviously MassDOT is doing the design, but I understand the process and I understand what's happening, so I'm happy to answer.
Now, we want them on the mic? Do we want people on the mic?
Probably, just
Yeah.
so that they can,
Just so
it's
they
being
can be heard.
recorded.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
it's,
And also to
I'm
address,
sure you were
address
picked
yourselves
up, 'cause
too.
you're close enough,
Yeah.
but,
okay. Well, if you would, I think you have more expertise in there than I do, and I've read all the things and stuff, but if you don't mind taking some questions and.
Yes, and if I can't answer them, I will,
Well,
not gonna try
no
to answer
problem
them,
at
I may be able to refer you to who could answer the
Without a doubt.
questions, yeah.
Now, as you raise your hand like you did, thank you. Also state your name so they can hear you, and please, if you would.
Okay,
Thank you, and your address. Yeah.
I'm Christopher Leonards, I live at 49 Upper Street. My question is, I was on I was the Buckland representative to the Scenic Byway project. And at the end of the day, that had no teeth, we can't enforce anything, but the spirit of it feels like, so my question to you would be, did anybody even consider that that is a scenic byway, and what you're proposing is pretty radical? You know, let me back up one, just for one second. I think of bike lanes, wider shoulders, separation, great. I really think that's a good thing, and it should go all the way. They're doing it through Cummington or Windsor, it's beautiful. But this feels like retaining walls and trees coming down and sidewalks, and it's, you know, 15 feet wider, and it's $20 million, and something seems like it went off the rails.
I think I just would, I don't know that the road is 15 feet wider. From what I've looked at, there's some, I think a lot of it is within the right of way. I know there's the culvert. And I have to admit, I haven't looked in detail at the plans, because when I came to the meeting, I couldn't, the table was pretty crowded. And I've only looked at the section that's just past the school. And, so I don't know of where the trees are being cut down. So I don't wanna speak to that. I'd be happy, I can read plans, so I'd be happy to like look at them more closely with someone. I do know where, I did look at, they made a big effort and there were a lot of trees being retained. So, so I don't know that is, the 15 feet is, that the road's being widened by 15 feet. As far as the scenic byway, the National Scenic Byway Program is primarily an honorary designation, and at the time that it was done, and for many years, the real reason for doing it was because it was a funding opportunity. There was a discretionary funding program that went along with it. That said, you know, so it doesn't have any regulatory teeth or anything, but there is, you know, there's a lot of programs that retain the historic character of the area and all of that sort of thing. So, and I don't know that, so, yeah, there's not any review where they would say, building a sidewalk, you're destroying the.
Thank you. Yeah. Anyone else? Yes.
I have a lot to say.
Could you please identify yourself?
Oh, I'm sorry, thank you. Marie Bartlett, and I'm in a butter to the project, as is my husband Sam.
And I'm gonna put this down because it's a heavy deal.
I have some papers here. I guess the first thing I'd like to say is I appreciate your awareness of the history before you got here. For me, one of the issues that I have with this project is that there hasn't been a clear set of communications that are in any way documented of back and forth with the public. And having public input is supposed to be, according to the DOT handbook, it says there's supposed to be regular information and solicitation from members of the town. I can give you that regulation if you want in a minute, Pam, or whoever. I'm all for improving the safety, in particular between North Street and Mohawk. So I definitely want that, but I think that there are ways to do it that accomplish both safety and retaining the beauty of where we live. And I didn't make a ton of copies because I didn't want to waste the paper, because I didn't know how this was all gonna go. But since you were unsure of how many feet, compared to what we have now, to what they're proposing, there's an increase of 18.5 feet. And I have it all laid out in what way, where that all happens. I guess since Clint isn't here, it means that Beth can have copies of what I.
How wide is the existing?
Yeah, the existing is, actually Beth, can you tell me, because I don't remember.
22.5.
It's 30, I think.
It's
It's 30, and it will go up to, sorry, this is all. And in terms of the timing of all these things, this is from the presentation that they gave us. And according to what they said, the last document, the last meeting that we had about this was in 2020. 2016. So, you know, Pam, you said you found, wait a minute, 1, 2, this is more stuff. So, again, I'd like to see documentation that an exchange of information actually happened.
I think it was actually at the TPO meeting, because Kobe actually this afternoon sent an email saying that, the project's been discussed at regularly scheduled Franklin County TPO meetings, which are open to the public. The project is documented in the Franklin County Regional Pedestrian Plan, publicly released in September of 2021. Further, in spring of 2023, the project was programmed for future construction in 2028 by the Franklin County TPO as part of its 2024 to 2028 TIP development program, which was released for public review and comment in accordance with state and federal regulations. So that's, I think, where a lot of that conversation happened was probably within the TPO
And
meetings.
And how would somebody in town know that something critical to the appearance of their town and their property is happening at the TPO? Is that like in the public hearings or?
I'm not, they're advertised, I believe.
I feel like legal ads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there are legal ads.
The meetings are posted on our website, but the the public reviews are posted in the newspaper. I do believe that, and I do, again, this was something that my predecessor was involved with. I do believe there was a public meeting early in the design process that was held.
I'm not sure what early, you know, I mean, this is documented 2013 and then 2014 and then 2016. So that is all on here. That is 10 years ago. And so 10 years ago, the transportation district said to the town at the meeting, according to what it says here, hey, would you like us to extend it to the Buckland Rec? And would you like to have a sidewalk? And the town responded enthusiastically. But responding enthusiastically to a possibility is different than endorsing what the plan is actually gonna be. And according to this, there was a 10-year gap between when the town said, yeah, we think a sidewalk sounds good, and when we got to actually see what it was gonna look like. I did bring with me some visual things to help people understand what we're talking about, because it is really a very significant amount of territory that we're talking about with expanding like this. Here's, well, let me just make sure so I'll show you my audio visuals. No, not, I'm providing the audio, this is, so, what I did was I took paper and tried to make it so that people could see, and maybe if somebody holds the thing on their lap, then you'll be able to see better. Thanks, Chris. Oh, thank you.
It could be brought in the other room. There's a table in the other room rather than someone I have.
So this is our current state of affairs. The 2 travel lanes are 11 feet wide. The gold stripes or yellow stripes make another 1.5 feet. And then there's, the shoulder varies between 1 foot and 3 feet or up to 4 feet. But in general, it's 3 feet. And there's no curved waterway or anything like that, which is used for drainage. If we go with the plan that they presented us with, then lining it up, because they are planning to move the center of the road a tiny bit, but not very much. This is, and I'll move so you can see. Can I move this?
No, good.
No.
No, that's it.
It stays
Right.
there.
Is that okay?
But yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So this is, let me just make sure I've got my numbers right, 2 and 6, it's 8, yeah, okay. This is what they planned, but in addition, there's the curbed sidewalk and a 4-foot waterway, which is used for drainage, storm drainage. And so this is the difference between what we have and what they've proposed. And the sidewalk starts out on the same side as North Street and stays there until you get to the first Mohawk driveway. And then it crosses over to Mohawk and then stays on the Mohawk side all the way to the wreck, which means it's going over personal home property, including mine, but I think, or ours. The bigger issue is that it's not clear to me that anybody really knows how much the sidewalk, in particular between Mohawk and the wreck, how much that's gonna get used. There's already an ability to walk between Mohawk and the wreck through the woods. And you're disturbing people's lives by putting a sidewalk on that side between Mohawk and the wreck. And if that's how the town feels is really important, then so be it. But I don't think there's been a process where the town has been educated about the impact and given an opportunity to assess if that's really valuable to the town. And I think that's a really critical thing before you start having a major impact on people's lives. The other thing is that as you increase the amount of pavement, and this is an increase of 18.5 feet of pavement, you have to do more stormwater control damage. And right now, we need a little bit of improvement on that, but nothing as dramatic as what we'll need if we increase the amount of pavement. And all that increase of pavement affects the stormwater, which is why you have to have this thing, which is, you can see it on the side of the Mohawk Trail. It's where you have sort of pavement that angles down so that the water can go down the waterway to a drain. And the other thing that happens is there are a lot of trees. I went through the plans, and between the top of North Street and Mohawk, I think I counted 57 trees that will be taken out. So it's a lot of trees. It's gonna dramatically change that. What they haven't told us is, because we didn't have much of a back and forth process, we had no back and forth process, they would not release any information to me prior to the hearing because Kobe said he wasn't allowed to. So we didn't have an opportunity to assess. If we did what one proposal or one possibility that, I don't say that this is the only thing that can happen, but what would make sense to me is to do something that's a little bit more in between these two. And this would be, I think the 2-foot buffer, which is where it's painted on the road, and there's no increase, there's no change in elevation. It's the same level as the road itself, but it means that the town will plow it. Because something that hasn't been said yet is that the town and the state will not be plowing the sidewalk. So that means that during the school year, much of which is the winter, when the kids want to be walking between town and the school, the sidewalk won't be plowed. In fact, what will happen is that when the state comes through and plows the road and the bike lane, all the slop will be dumped onto the sidewalk. So then you'll have students leaving the sidewalk and walking in the bike lane, which if that's what they're gonna do, then what's the point of building the sidewalk if 3 or 4 months a year?
The town plows sidewalks now, doesn't it?
Pardon?
Doesn't the town plow
We
sidewalks?
plow the sidewalks in the town, not on the state
Oh,
highway.
'cause the state.
Yeah,
Is that proposal that we put there, is that what's basically on Route 9 in Cummington?
you know, I haven't gone to Route 9 and measured, It
That's what it looks
visually it looks similar, but my guess is that Route 9 is probably a 12-foot travel lane, not an 11-foot travel lane.
Oh, right, but
And
the side thing.
The side thing, yeah. So if they went with this, or we went, then there would still be the buffer, and then you'd have a 4-foot, I shouldn't have called it a bike lane, there's another term for it. A bike pedestrian shoulder, something like that, I forget. But anyway, you would have everybody that wasn't in a car using this 4-foot. They would have the buffer if they wanted to pass somebody, but with 4 feet, you can pass somebody anyway. And that would, it's not gonna guarantee that everybody's safe. That is a true statement, but I don't know that a sidewalk would do that either. It would probably make the pedestrians safer, but it would also not guarantee anything. And I don't know with the state plans how many fewer trees would have to be cut for this one. This one is only, I think it's 5 feet wider. But it's a much higher, this is 5 feet wider than what we have now. But because you have these things here, it's a much higher impact visual cues for cars to stay out of this. Right now, it's a faded white line, so it doesn't really grab people's attention. And maybe at some point, these would be faded buffer lines, but it would wake people up and say, okay, I need to be careful.
Out in Covington, they have a rumble strip in there.
Yes, and I think that they are planning to put a rumble strip in here too. So they would get auditory cues and they'd have visual cues saying, this is a no-go territory for the people.
Yes.
I just wanted to weigh in. with my
Could you
thoughts
say
about
your
this.
name, please?
Is that all right? Okay.
We need your
Great.
name.
Hi, my name is Jeff Gang. I live on Upper Street.
Oh,
I have
okay.
a 2-year-old, and I commute every day with him from Buckland Center to Shelburne Falls, usually by car because it doesn't feel terribly safe by bike. But sometimes I do it by bike. Don't tell my wife. With him on the back.
I hope she's not watching this now.
Usually we go on Rand Road and then over
Yeah.
Goodman Hill and, anyway, but, I think our priority needs to be safety for children. I think it's a huge shame and scandal that we have children walking along the side of a road where people routinely drive in the 40s and 50s. I don't care if that means we need to cut down a lot of trees. I hope we don't, but I think priority of children's safety is the most important thing. And that, I should say, means the corridor between the school and North Street, to me, feels like almost a different project from beyond going all the way to the rec. Because we know there's children using that already in its unsafe state. And I think if it were safer, we'd see a lot more children riding their bikes there on beautiful days, or, walking back and forth between town, if seniors have a slot off or something like that. I have a background in pedestrian and cycling safety in Boston before I moved here 5 years ago. And oftentimes what cities and towns do is they wait until someone gets killed and then they put in the safety infrastructure. I'm really grateful we're not waiting for that, and I hope we don't miss this opportunity, because on my way here, I passed 2 children running alongside. I'm sure they're on the running team from Mohawk. Running on the side of 112, and it was, I was driving 35, there's a school zone, people can talk about school zone another time. But trucks are routinely going 45 and 50 in that stretch, and 18-wheelers. So I think the priority for that stretch needs to be reducing vehicle speed. And if we do that, we can also narrow the lanes that the vehicles are going through, which opens up the question of what do we do with the space, how much money are we spending on earth movement and building retaining walls and cutting down trees. So to me, it feels like the solution I want from MassDOT is one that prioritizes reducing vehicle speed in that section, because it's important for safety.
When you say that section, are you talking about the whole thing or just?
I mean, I think we should, I'd like to reduce speed in both, but I agree that the priority for children is gonna be the one between the school and North Street. Or that's what it seems like to me. The added benefit of reducing speed is it should reduce costs, it should give us more space to play with, to create protected things. I wanna ask if anyone in here has tried walking alongside on 112 right now when there's nothing between you and the cars, and the trucks.
Yeah, we do.
You know, and I know
And
lots of you do.
I walk
I
that
see
as
there almost
fast
every
as
day.
I
Yeah.
can walk. to get from North Street to Rand Road.
And-
Cook
It's
Up
just
Rand
a
Road.
small section.
Right, and
You feel exposed.
I don't think that a rumble strip and a buffer is sufficient for children's safety, in particular on that stretch. So I'd like to see a curb and a sidewalk. I think the best practice, if you're talking transit planners, is like a shared use path with a 15-foot buffer and trees. We're obviously not in that terrain, right? Like, that's okay.
They did, I'm sorry to interrupt you,
Go ahead.
they actually did consider that, and there was not enough room.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
and we know that, and we're like, you know, we're making compromises, and that's okay, but I'd like to see a compromise that puts safety of children on that corridor first. I'm speaking as a person who rides a bike for fun and has a higher tolerance of risk than most children do when they're riding bikes. And I would love it if we had, you know, the thing that MassDOT said with the rumble strip and the bike lane. But if you've been on that bike, you know, I'm thinking about Route 2 by the French King Bowling place in Irving. They put bike lanes, they put a rumble strip, people are driving 55. Like, you don't see anyone biking on there. I would if it were the only way to get from A to B, but that's me. I'm like an able-bodied young man who's done a lot of bicycling. I don't think most other people are gonna ride on that, and particularly not children. So I would like to see, yeah, I don't know I'm not a transit planner, but I would like us, it feels really important to me that we put safety of the children first. And whether that means, I think, reducing vehicle speed so we can put a sidewalk. Bike lanes would be great because, I think in truth, most children will ride their bikes on the sidewalk. But a bike lane is part of how we wanna build, so we can attract tourists and, well, you know, all that other stuff. But, I don't think that's important. I don't think beauty is as important as making sure children don't get hit by trucks in our town.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can
Go
I
ahead.
okay, I just wanna say regarding the children and the sidewalks and the runners, as people who live adjacent to Mohawk and watch the runners, if you have the sidewalk on the side of the road going to the wreck that they have planned, then the way that they run now is they cross to the other side of the road, so the sidewalk will not be addressing the route that they currently take, because they cross 112 and then they run south or west, however you wanna call it. They run south or west to either Rand Road or East Buckland or further on. And then at some point they cross back over 112 and then they come back. So,
You
you
don't
know,
think they run with
will
it?
they run on the sidewalk the whole time, the running team? I don't know the answer to that, and we have not checked with the coaches, but,
I think it's a fair assumption that they would run on the sidewalk.
They can't get to the roads they're running to.
So they have to cross the road somewhere, which is dangerous, but they're doing that already.
I
and not
feel
running
like
on the
they do
sidewalk.
that because it's safer on that side.
well, they're facing traffic, which is where you're supposed to be
Yeah.
if you're a pedestrian.
It's more open. But if you're on a sidewalk.
I think that-
Robin, did you
I-
wanna
we-
add anything, since we
Well,
do have
can I-
Mohawk?
You know what, why
Can I
don't you
just-
let other people speak and then you can have a turn again, okay?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And no, because I just know Budge and Robin are here, so
Budge and I are
they.
here to support the sidewalks from North Street to Mohawk Trail.
And I think that's a given, and I think the state is not gonna back on that.
Yeah.
That's a given.
That's what we're here to support.
That's a given, and it's a given on, they've even talked about putting it on the other side. Some people wanted it on the other side, but they're saying for safety concerns, something about the land stuff, they've decided it's
Yeah.
going to be on the south, the south side, yeah. But, yeah, so
And
that's a
I
given,
think
Rob.
Budge and I really can't speak to where, if it's going from Mohawk farther to the west.
Right.
What about the snow removal or anything?
The snow removal for where I was thinking I would just add it to Mohawk's existing contract. We have, small equipment that our staff could do as well if the price was too much to add that to our existing contract, where we contract out our snow removal, where we just add another sidewalk.
Question about that, from what I understand, there's gonna be a retaining wall, there'll be nowhere to put that stuff off that sidewalk.
Yeah.
It's gonna, my understanding is a retaining wall along there, and that there will be nowhere to put that.
I don't know about that, but, Robin, could you explain about your role,
I'm the Director of Facilities and Transportation for the Mohawk Trail Regional School District and the Hallmark Regional School District.
so you have information to provide about how the sidewalk would be taken care of, so.
Yeah, in front of Mohawk's property, I mean, obviously we wouldn't be responsible or be able to afford doing it from North Street to even to the high school, or from
Mhm.
the high school to the rec, but we would be responsible, like, as a landowner would in town, that, you're responsible for the piece in front of your property.
You're not responsible for it, the town is responsible for it. The township-
No, the town's not, it's a state road, yes.
Andrea Donlin, Upper Street. I attended the hearing, and I think my sense of this whole project is that as a resident of Buckland and member of the planning board, I kind of had heard like there was an interest in this bike path, but I didn't, or bike lane, didn't know of any progress on it until I was just like on the town web page and saw it on the homepage, thank you for posting it. So I'm a like relatively informed resident of Buckland and had no idea that it was moving forward until that moment. And I think from what I'm hearing tonight, like not many people knew, I mean, I think the request from the town was like this conceptual idea of like, let's make pedestrian and biking safer along that stretch. And I think there's a lot of interest in that, but nobody knew like the details of what does that mean? Like what's allowable, how many feet will it take up and all that. And now we had that presentation, they gave us very few details at all in the presentation about like what it's gonna look like. I couldn't even figure out what, based on what they were saying, like where the sidewalk was and where the crosswalks were. I don't know why they didn't have some sort of like big draft letters, but like this is what it's going, like an overview of the sidewalks here and then this, and here's how much wider it's gonna be. So now that I'd like to be able to see something that doesn't involve going through 50 pages of huge engineering drawings. I don't know if DOT can make like an overview summary of how wide it's gonna be, and I've heard talk of retaining walls in this meeting, but it wasn't part of the hearing at all, so like, I don't know if we know all the options and whether there's an opportunity to tweak anything, and I don't know what the select board is thinking in terms of like how you're gonna proceed. Are you just gonna go on the comments up until this point, or are there more opportunities to review things and
This is a state project, and it just come to us that, people have raised concerns and questions. It's a state project. The only thing that we got involved, this group knew, is because when the rec was finished over there, they came up with the idea of maybe extending it, and extending it. And that's really it. As far as the rest of it, it's up to the state. The state does that. They tell us this, they tell us that. I don't know. I honestly don't know, and where we go from here, because, do you know,
another
Beth?
resident forwarded me the email that he sent to the state, the DOT folks, and they responded saying that they're putting it on pause and that the select board is kind of like the decision maker.
Thanks for, yeah.
Okay,
Glad they called us.
we're not making one tonight, I'll tell you that.
So I just wanted
Sure,
to
well,
allow
thank
you
you,
to-
yeah. The gentleman
Andrew,
behind.
you asked for a visual, and so I'm just gonna give it to you. That's okay.
Okay, excuse me, yeah, the gentleman behind you. And then you got-
24 Ashfield Road. We met with the engineers subsequent to the meeting here, and although they're somewhat, in our mind, lacking in credibility, they said that if the selectmen say that they don't want a sidewalk, then there won't be a sidewalk. It's entirely up to the selectmen where there's gonna be a sidewalk. And that other things like changing speed and changing widths of things and all that is completely off the table. As I said, I'm not convinced of that. I think they really just don't wanna have to change their plans at all. But they said, we talked about reducing the speed. They said, well, people will be driving slower because there's the traffic calming measure of the little island where the crosswalk is in front of the high school, as though that's gonna slow down people down at the rec or something. That was their logic for why people would be driving slower on this wider road. If you make a road wider, people drive faster. This, as proposed, this project is gonna look like the Mohawk Trail, and with a sidewalk added to it. And people don't like biking on the Mohawk Trail because the traffic is so fast. But I think really the only issue for the select board is, do you want to continue asking for a sidewalk or ask them not to? And in my mind, if the sidewalk is gonna be plowed, if Mohawk wants to plow it in front of their place, that's fine, but I don't think the folks who own land up on Rand Road that have bought on 112 are gonna wanna be down there clearing that sidewalk and shoveling it up over the retaining wall somehow. I don't see the point of a sidewalk if it's gonna be full of snow and they're gonna be walking in the shoulder anyway, most of the season, most of the school years.
Yeah.
Seems like a waste of money.
Most of the, I should say the sidewalk, the pedestrian sidewalk, is set by the DOT, and as I've been told, my little bit of information is, they're not gonna change it. That they decide, and it's based upon engineers and lawyers, of course, yeah, and things for safety and everything. That's what I was told.
Yeah, they said that about the widths of the, bike lanes. But
Yes.
They said the sidewalk was an option that was in there because
Yeah.
the select board asked for it.
Just a quick piece of info to add. I emailed MassDOT about this, and I asked specifically about changing speeds, designing for a lower speed. They said they would have to do a speed study to do that. I don't know what that entails or if that's actually how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually asked the same
Okay.
question, after the hearing, and I actually have my own ideas for, if making the speed slower and reducing the width of the project, but, I know that they are being a little bit like hard and fast with like your options, but I actually don't know that those are your only options. I think that if you, wanted to discuss the project a little, the details, I think you could bring that up.
Yeah, they might come back,
And,
yeah.
Because I agree with the design speed question. That's my,
Yeah, oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. As I said, this is new kind of to us
Yes,
too. I mean,
and-
this was decided before this select board, years ago. Look, it's 10 years old, and, if not longer, but so it gets that way. Yes, Mary?
Mary Bolduc, 48 Ashfield Road. I live in the section of 112 that would be between Mohawk and the rec area. So, if the sidewalk only went as far as Mohawk, then, it wouldn't reach me. I totally agree with safety of children. Mine are all grown, my grandchildren are all grown. But that is a priority. And I respect the scenic byway. Anybody that knows me knows I love where I live, I love the town, I love the vistas, old houses, whatever. I like things natural. However, I'm speaking for the seniors that walk that road, and I walk it almost every day. And I have to either go from my house to Rand Road or my house to East Buckland Road to get off from 112. And it's not easy, and especially if you want to take your dog, it's hard with the traffic going by that fast. And by the time the project is done, chances are I won't be any younger than I am now. But hopefully I'll still be walking. And the opportunity to walk from my house to downtown, I would love that. The opportunity to just go to Mohawk and walk the track, which I have done. But, I have to do 112. Now, Marie mentioned going through the woods. And, I go through the woods a lot because I can access them from my backyard. However, at this time of year, the tick population is so out of control that I've stayed pretty much on the roads and back roads because I always have the dog with me. And even then, if she gets off to the side of the road and the leaves or whatever, I can come home and pick 5 or 6 ticks off her. And she's on, all kinds of prevention and everything. if I go out through the woods over to the rec, which I have done, it's even worse. So I love the woods out there, but the dog and I probably tend to use them more in the cooler weather and if there's snow on the ground. So if the sidewalk isn't plowed, that doesn't bother me because it'll be open in the summer when I use it, and then I'll go through the woods in the winter, because there's trails out there. And also pulling out of my driveway is a hazard, between the contour of the road and the trees that are in the way. And the engineer told me that night that between the bike lane and the sidewalk, it would give, I would have further that I can edge out, to see around, plus some of the trees will come down, which will make the visibility better. So, yes, it's a lovely area. I'm not sure the sidewalk is gonna wreck it that much, but I also wanna live to see it, so, walking 112 may jeopardize that, I don't know.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Marge Litchfield, I'm a member of the Mohawk Trail School Committee. I'm chair of the building subcommittees. We work very closely with Robin on buildings and grounds types of issues. And one of my largest concerns certainly is the safety of students and also staff who walk to and from school up North Road and along 112. And having a sidewalk for them there would be wonderful. If it can't be plowed for 2 or 3 months of the year, the existence of a bike lane at least gives them more protection and more space off of the designated travel lanes. The other big concern are those student athletes. The kids need a good place to run, and 112 is a great place to get started on your 2, 3, however many mile run each day. And again, a sidewalk would be the ideal, but the existence of bike lanes on either side, again, gives a space where the children can run safely well out of the designated travel lanes. So I would encourage folks to really think in terms of that, those student safety considerations.
And that will be, that's in the state plan now, the DOT, and they basically said, we're not changing them. They're going from from North Street to the first entrance to Mohawk. And I'm sure they'll have a sidewalk put in there with a bump and lights and things too. But so that will help a lot. And I taught for 45 years in Mohawk District, and then I went up to Mohawk and some athletic directing for 2.5 years. And every day I cringed when I saw the kids go to take their run for cross country, and I'm going, ouch, Route 112. The kids were great, but that's not the point, We have been playing with.
If you are in a bike lane at the very least, with the diagonal lines that are designated, gives you much more safety than those kids have now right now.
Yeah.
And that is, I think, a very, very good thing to do.
Yeah, that is true. And as far as one other thing, I got another message when I was talking to someone else about it, is the idea of, that we should, if they're going to plan to do that, everybody's talked about snow, this or that, and they said that comes, you need to build it first to see what happens. And secondly, from Mohawk to the Buckland Rec, there may be no reason to walk on that sidewalk, period. That's, you know what I mean? But it's a nice safety thing during the weather when they would. But 7 months out of the year, 8 months, it's, Well, thank you, Butch. It was good to hear, too. Yes.
I'm Cindy Schwartz, and I'm the director of the rec department. I see people walking on the road to the rec in the middle of the road. It scares me to death. I'm all about safety, not just for children, but also adults. And people do go to the rec to walk to the rec, to do the playground, to the pool, whatever, in the grounds. But I totally, personally support the sidewalks going to the rec.
Yes, sir.
So I've been.
Who are you?
Sorry.
It's okay, Mike.
Wait a minute now. I know that. Mike Lukeska, Rubber Street.
Thank you, Mike.
And I have been secretly, quietly yearning for a sidewalk and safety from Shelburne Falls to the high school for decades. I mean, because I've been back and forth, as most of you have been, hundreds of times and witnessed all sorts of things that you don't really want to witness, and you keep thinking, like Jeff said, nobody's gotten killed, nobody's even gotten seriously hurt, and I propose that we don't wait until that happens, as Jeff said. I would take it one step further. Now, by the way, I am very fully 100% supportive from the village to the high school. What goes on beyond that, I can see that there's some issues, but I would like to reference that area most of all. I think safety is foremost. If trees come down, there should be a tree replanting plan, and trees that are appropriate that won't be falling on the wires or what have you. But I mean, I've been around for 75 years, and I've seen trees get planted, and like the trees just before the wreck, those tall pines. You know, I remember when they were planted, they were just little guys, and there they are. So I'm all about replanting and having a plan for that suits where we're at. So safety, I think the environmental concerns can be addressed, and if trees have to come down, they come down. As many of you know, I have planted many, many trees in Shelburne Falls in the Buckland area on my own, and also with the group of the Historical Society. So I'm all about that, but
Yeah.
I think we ought to have a replanting
It's a good idea.
program and plan in place.
Just put it-
And I'll add one more thing, which some of you are gonna raise your eyebrows, but if people are gonna use the sidewalk from the village to the high school, at night, in the winter, and if it gets plowed, and I would propose that the town accept some responsibility if need be, to keep it open up in the wintertime, because kids are gonna go back and forth no matter what, and it's even more difficult in the wintertime to see and to negotiate a safe way of getting back and forth. But I propose, and I did way back in the 80s, early 80s, about pedestrian level lighting in the village. And, you know, I don't like per se the decorative component of our lighting in the village, although it's right for the village. But if we had lighting along the sidewalk between the high school and the top of North Street, that just pointed down, or maybe it was just quiet lighting, but I believe that would be very worthwhile. There, I've said my piece.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Wait a minute,
Oh,
I believe
let's get some
this
other
person-
people, yes.
She didn't, you wanted to speak?
I'm not a resident, but may
That's
I?
okay.
Okay, my name is Amy LaValle, and I just have a question. Is there, does anybody know the rate of incidence between motor vehicles and pedestrians in that area?
The what?
What now? I'm sorry.
Motor vehicle versus pedestrians?
Officer, could you say anything?
I have no idea. I'm here wearing a different hat tonight.
I can see it's a baseball hat, but still, do you have any idea? I haven't heard of a lot of accidents and things there.
I don't know it off the top of my
Yeah,
head.
I don't.
We could look it up, but I don't know it.
That-
I just ask because I live on Route 5, and Route 5, the section that I live in, was very narrow, and people were getting hit all the time. So they did this right here, and people are still getting hit.
Yeah.
Where do you live?
Somebody just got hit just over a month ago walking in the bike lane.
Which town?
In Wheatley.
Oh.
So when I hear we should put sidewalks in, I'm like, nobody will walk on the road anymore because people are continuously getting hit. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah,
If
and-
we had a sidewalk, that would be amazing.
I've heard a lot about bike lane, sidewalk. You know, a bike lane is not for pedestrians to be walking in. I heard, well, they could do that, but it really isn't. I mean, it's a different composition. It's a different animal, okay? And so that's why we're sort of leaning, no, we're not leaning, I should say, we're trying to get into something. I'm thinking too, I've heard none of this, and my mind's going just like all of yours are right now, and I appreciate your input and the input of the citizens who live near there, because it's like, wow, you know, it's really a lot. I don't know if what the DOE, I'm sure we can't have them come up here and talk again. They've done it already with us, but that was years ago.
Well, they just came and did their public hearing last month.
They did.
Yes, in April, right? What was the date again, Marie? April 16th. For some reason,
Okay.
it doesn't stick in my
Yeah.
head.
Okay.
April 16th is when they came and presented the Christopher's Lap pile of paper there, and that's what they presented.
You are holding
last
the
month.
road.
Okay.
Yes.
The person there
Or-
was-
well,
no,
oh, Judy, yeah.
No,
He had told me that they don't typically come again. I don't know if Beth can speak to that, I don't.
I don't know, I can't answer for them, but I know, and if, just to respond to one thing that you said, Andrea, about not seeing the plans before the 25% design hearing, that's just the process, like, if they, I believe they had something early on just to get input, and then the first time the plans would be set out would be at a 25% design hearing, so that's just, that, they wouldn't have had them available.
That's standard then.
Working
Although
on them,
Marie
that's,
said, that one of the slides, I forgot about this, they already said what alternatives they considered and eliminated, and like, so I don't know who knew about any of those.
They eliminated the options without public discussion, is my impression.
Okay, it's gonna be, yeah, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Judy Hoyt. I live at the end of North Street, not at the very end, but the end of the residential area. And I see the kids going by all the time. And everybody is talking about the speed of the traffic on 112. The speed of the traffic on North Street is pretty good too. And I just think that the sidewalk is imperative and it should be extended all the way to the road.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Want to explain why, Judy?
Because, yes, right now you've got more traffic because of the school. Absolutely, that has to be done. I think you've got them working on the project. People are going fast back there too. It's, people walk and ride bikes all summer, spring and fall to the rec. Not in the winter probably as much unless they ski or something. But, I think it's a safety thing. I think you've got the traffic, you've got the project going anyway. I think you should finish it.
Thank you.
Take it to the.
I agree.
Pat Schmidt, Lewis Street. So I'm a basketball mother, and during the winter, during basketball season, when it's dark, there are a lot of kids walking from Mohawk to downtown. A lot of kids. So I think, and they don't plow sidewalks on 112 where I live, which is really dangerous, and I hate it. And I'm sure they're not gonna plow them on that area either. So a bike line, I think is imperative to make it a little wider, so they have some chance.
Thank you. And maybe lighting after we get the sidewalks becomes a new issue we bring up that the state's got to, I hear you, I don't drive it at night, so.
Well, if-
That's certain. Yep.
One of the small ones, I ride the bike, I used to ride the bike more, down in Northampton, towards Belchertown. And there's pedestrians, and roller skaters, and inline skaters, and bikes. And they all work pretty well, and it's a fraction of width of what you're proposing for a lane. I think a sidewalk, it's a law, as you're saying, it's a given. But beyond that, I believe that you could very safely, with a wide, with a rumble strip, with a 2-foot, be able to walk, run, ride your bike, and interact with one another without a sign.
The cars don't slow down there.
Well, you change the speed limit. Force the speed limit. As well as, if you do those two things, it becomes safe. And you modify, as it gets narrower, you modify the speed limit appropriately. And you enforce it. Importantly, if we're spending $500,000 on enforcement, we should be able to get some enforcement.
I feel like we have a lot on our agenda tonight. I think we
Well, I
should get a
think
lot of
Marie
questions.
wanted to,
and-
she's waiting patiently.
Oh, I'm
Well,
sorry, I didn't mean to cut her off
You wanted to
again.
say something else after everybody spoke?
Yeah, I was gonna say that in terms of Mike saying, oh, well, we could plant some trees, some of the places where the trees are being taken, it's not that they're in a location where the sidewalk needs to be, it's that because of all that expansive pavement, they're needing to do more drainage work. So the trees are being removed because they can't have trees where they need to do the drainage. So they will not be enthusiastic about replanting trees in that location. So I just wanted to address that piece of things.
Thank you.
And then I just wanted to say that in the same way that Mary talks about wanting to be able to walk on 112 without ticks, I guess I'd just like to put a plug in if we're gonna accommodate I mean, she's one person and other people also wanna walk. But between Mohawk and the rec, there are currently only 2 houses that have direct access to the sidewalk. There's another one where there's 2 people, but counted as 4. So Mary wants to be able to be on the sidewalk, that's great, but that's 1 person out of 4, and we don't know who the other people are. And because there's no other houses that have their driveways right where the sidewalk's gonna be. And it's absolutely not that Mary's needs don't matter, but I would like to say that having our perceived third of our front yard being occupied by bike lane and sidewalk, if her concerns over the ticks matter, why don't our concerns over having our front yard be removed?
And I don't think you said that at all. We have not said that, you've done majority of the talking, and I appreciate it. But just when you said Mary here, her concerns and your concerns, there's 2 people out of 4. So all I'm trying to say is we have to understand, we have a problem here of good citizens all the way around with different viewpoints, and we've got to be careful with that that's all I'm driving at. And I appreciate everything being said here. Everybody's been courteous and polite. Yes, ma'am.
Molly Anderson, 32 Upper Street. You guys gotta walk by her house and see what she's talking about.
Yeah.
I drove by
You're gonna be
today.
able to put your hand out and touch her porch post. It's horrible. I knew she was always close to the road, but I took a look at it. And there's nothing, there's hardly anything there. It is, it's gonna be right on
I will do that myself too, but like I said, we don't,
Well,
we
no,
don't,
we can.
we don't,
Change.
well,
We can make a difference. We can, I don't know, swerve the road a little differently. I don't know, or go with the small.
we can make
version
suggestions.
And still be safe.
We can make suggestions, but, they're,
No, we don't stand up and fight.
Yeah, but that's making suggestions, and, because they can easily turn around and say, well, I guess we'll put our $20 million worth of stuff in somewhere else where they're more accommodating.
Right.
And we're not, I haven't heard anybody who's not accommodating. I'm hearing, I don't want a sidewalk, I want sidewalks. I need it for my kids' bike riding. I don't want this, the kids need it to run. If you've been listening, it's a 50-50 shot at best. For everything, so we have to really appreciate what everybody's saying. Yes, sir.
Sam Bartlett, 44 Ashfield Road. As I said before, the state engineers said that the sidewalk was up to the Board of Selectmen. If they got a letter from the Board of Selectmen in favor or against, they would keep it or take it out, and it's not clear to me which way you're headed or what your plan is.
I'm not clear either.
So how are you gonna proceed?
Well, we probably will, this will be on another agenda. I
Yep.
mean, we gathered all this information and people's opinions, and it's very valuable.
It really is.
I
It
love
is.
to hear from the people who live in our town, but we're not gonna make a decision tonight.
No.
This is something we will think about, and it'll be on the agenda.
And looking the past too, because we were having just a mind bogs that maybe possibly at some time it was made a decision by the select board, not us, that it would continue from Mohawk to the rec.
And
That's only things I've heard. I don't know if any way to find that out, Pam.
I've been looking through minutes, I can keep doing it.
Yeah, if you do, if you do,
My
just.
days are full.
I know,
Doing my
no,
best.
I know they are.
One thing I would welcome talking with people from the state, and to find out exactly, because, what is, and also you too, please.
I was just gonna say, I would suggest that you do kind of push back a little and say, can we open up a little more conversation about the actual design. And if you need help with that, I'm happy to help with that, so.
But if it's ultimately our decision, I think that's important to get, I would like to hear that side too, you know, but.
And I think we've had a fair share of both sides
Yes,
to an
thank
extent,
you.
and like I said, you talked
We have
about having.
we have a long agenda, so.
Yes, well, I'm going to end this in a minute, but we talked about maybe sometime having another open discussion here, and
I don't believe Mass DOT would hold another hearing, they've already done it.
But they might meet with us, so.
well, maybe, yeah,
I can
okay,
certainly
yes.
ask.
So where does it go from here with the 25%? They don't come back with a different design of the whole complete
We'll
project?
Go ahead.
So as far as the MassDOT process, when they design a project, and you're getting a taste of how this happens, the 25% design hearing is the one required public hearing that they're required, to have. That's how their process with projects all over the state. I don't know. I mean, you could ask them if they would. I don't know. I know that's how their process works.
Because I'm familiar with 44 Ashfield Road, and it is extreme, like Larry should go check it out, it is very close.
Yeah, I will, you know, just,
But, you know, it is safety, and I think too, like, if there was some kind of safety with bike lane, sidewalk, or whatever was there, if they changed the design, I know Mohawk would probably take the opportunity of their summer program of going to the rec, using the sidewalk instead of the woods.
thank you.
So this is new.
It's okay, that's okay, yep.
The woods are nice too.
We know that that Mass DOT has to change a significant piece of their design because they thought they could, take land across the street from our house. So on their 25% plan, they have, do they have the sidewalk on the other side?
No, they have.
No, they have a land take, and they have a
control.
swamp water thing going on over there. And we know that they, as it stands, they cannot do that because it's been under APR land. So
I heard that.
we
You say
know that they have to do a redesign of that section, regardless of what we as townspeople, you as a select board have to say. And so, in terms of whether or not they'd be willing to come back, I don't know how that impacts things, because if they have to do a redesign for 200 yards of the, and redesign the stormwater collection system, then does the town not to get, doesn't the town get to be updated on what that's gonna look like?
I don't know if they would come, I mean, ultimately, the project will go through other reviews. I know it won't have another 25% design hearing, but it will have, like, I'm assuming I don't know if there's conservation commission, I don't know what other approvals. It moves into, once you get past 25, then it starts moving into, like, permitting.
Right.
And right of way is last. So it's, so I don't know. As I said, the 25% I know is the one that they have to have, but maybe they would, I don't wanna speak for them.
Okay, well, I'm not actually even talking about them coming back for a hearing necessarily, I'm just wondering, do they update the town, like, okay, we've changed this whole section of the project?
We'll reach out, okay? We'll reach out.
I think that's what we can do, it's all we
Yeah,
can do.
we'll
and
reach
then
out
we'll-
and see how we can communicate with them.
And then see how we can get back to you
Okay.
all for another meeting or whatever, so.
We're not gonna drop it, we're not gonna,
No way.
this ain't going away.
Well, we appreciate your coming, people, for that. We're gonna move on with our agenda if it's okay. We have a lot to do, so thank you.
Thank you.
It's all right.
Okay.
I gave you, I'm not forcing it on anybody, I just wanted to.
Did you need this?
Yeah.
or-
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
We'll save this for Clint, because he wasn't here
Yeah,
today,
let's-
so.
yeah.
So I
I'm
don't know
gonna
if
save them all anyway, so we'll put them in there. Don't break the table. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
See you, buddy. Good to see you.
Pat, you're up.
Hey, this will only take a second.
That's what they always say.
We're generous, we'll give you 20.
Okay.
seconds, okay.
Okay, I'm Pat Schmidt, Lower Street, and I'm representing the Summer Day on the Common Committee. And we had an issue with signage last year, and Pam looked up the restrictions on signage. And it looks like you are making an exception for anything on town property. So my question is, you already said no once, but just listen to what I'm gonna say. If we were to put the banner on the fence at the rec, you could specify only Buckland residents, Buckland activities. Not that it would be broad-based. It would be only for specific functions in the town of Buckland that would be allowed to use that fence. That's it.
Why don't you wanna put the sign down here like the church does?
Okay, because the signage requirements say nothing bigger than 12 square feet. Of course, there's several banners that have been put up that are more than 12 square feet. And I don't see that banner that's up there. You know why? I have a car. I can't see over the railing. I can't see it. And my banner flips over with the wind, so it's not, 'cause I tried it one year, and it doesn't stay there.
You can't weigh it down with a brick.
I don't know how we do that without possibly ripping the banner, because it really wails down through the river.
Maybe it's time to
So
get a
just-
new
so just to
banner.
add
That
another
costs
little-
money.
Yeah.
And we've spent several hours doing this banner and money.
So just to add another little wrinkle to this, because I did reach out to our zoning enforcement agent today, because I was sort of like you're saying, or do we have some exemptions? We do not, as a matter of fact, and really no one should be erecting a temporary sign that exceeds 9 square feet in area or 10 feet in height, or 10 feet in height, without a special permit from the ZBA. So really going forward, no one's gonna be allowed to.
Sorry.
Jeez, Pat, thanks for
Well,
ruining for everybody.
if you guys hadn't had a fit about us putting it by the road, it never would
Well,
have
why don't you go to
started,
the
so.
ZBA and get a special permit?
For $300? No.
Oh, never mind, yeah, I don't blame you.
So if we could, so if we were talking about a 9 square foot sign, putting it somewhere, then that would be
Nobody
something
could
they
read
could
it
act
anyway.
on, yeah.
Okay, so the next thing is, this is obviously not something that different organizations want to adhere to, because it's not adequate. So what is the step for changing the restrictions?
It'd be a bylaw change.
Bylaw change, which requires,
Zoning bylaw change.
It's a town meeting.
Yeah, we'd have to go to the zoning board first, right? Would you, yeah.
They would, well, I mean, I think you could still propose that
Yeah,
as a
yeah,
bylaw change,
yeah.
but you would have to then have to vote at town meeting
Yep.
and to amend and change and all of that. So yes, it could be done.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I
zoning
just think
bylaw
it's gotta
change.
be fixed for all kinds of organizations that are using the bigger signs.
It's too bad that the sign that went over the main street there.
I guess it was, besides things wearing out with the fixtures, they were very concerned about liability if it came down crashing.
No, I can understand that.
Yeah, so I
can
guess
understand
they're addressing it, but it's nothing permanent yet.
that. Okay, well,
So maybe I'll talk to you, Pam, and get kind of,
Yeah.
or send me to the zoning board, and
Sure.
I'll talk about
Yeah.
that, because it'll be a service to all the organizations,
Mhm.
because they can. And just so you know, we have a lower speed limit on Lower Street, and no police cars have been there to enforce it for years, because they don't have cell service on Lower Street. And I tell you, walking 112 in the wintertime, it's rather scary, because I do. There's 4 of us that walk it to go to the library, and it's scary. Why doesn't the state have some commitment to take care of sidewalks that are on residential areas?
Oh, the states?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I hear ya.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying there. Yeah, that's why we're questioning
I'm
here.
not that good a jumper to jump into the sidewalk, up on the snowbank.
And I was thinking as they were talking about this, I just as well, let's get a sidewalk in first and we'll worry about snowing later. I mean, it's, we don't even
Well,
know.
I was just saying, unless somebody enforces that speed limit, those signs don't amount to crap, just so you know.
Oh, the ones at this one.
The
And,
ones on Lower Street either, it doesn't amount to any of that.
and you know who'll get caught? You, when you speed a little bit. Oh, no.
I haven't.
Just
Back when they
teasing you.
did traps, I never got caught.
well, hopefully we can find a solution.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, but I'll approach, see how much, because I just need more to do.
Thank you,
Thank you.
thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Beth.
Let's see.
Amy,
We're moving along.
So Amy also had an appointment this
Amy,
evening.
okay, let's Yep, Amy.
But I'm
Are you okay? Are you here for the long haul and you want
Yeah,
because
I'm-
Christian's also on the agenda. He didn't have a formal appointment, but was kind of the B on the agenda. Tonight's sort of a free-for-all, so it's up to you guys.
We
how you
don't
wanna move
usually
forward.
have this lengthy meeting, but.
We're just enjoying ourselves right
Well,
here.
why don't you, Amy, why don't you just
What?
introduce yourself?
So my name's Amy LaValle. I'm running for state representative for First Franklin. I'm not here to promote myself or anything like that. I'm really here to listen to what's going on in the town.
No, well, then you came on a good day.
Now she's gonna go back home and say, do I really wanna do this?
So I'm actually the town clerk in Whately, so I
Why,
know
you-
how.
you know how it
Oh,
goes.
okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I'm not here to speak on anything or anything like that. I'm really here to just listen to what's going on here.
Okay.
Well, thank you for making a connection too, so we can,
Yeah.
get to know you too, so, nice, thank you.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
Why are you running for this office?
I question my choices every now. Because I was born and raised here. Like I said, I'm the town clerk. I raised my kids here, and I think it's just really important that Boston knows we exist and that there's a strong voice
Yeah.
for the county.
Yeah,
Did you get that, Tony?
yes.
Did you, okay.
Yes,
'Cause
yes,
got
I did.
Interrupted for a second, I
No,
apologize.
That's okay.
As long as she got it, she'll tell me.
No, we need to make more noise here so that the people in Boston pay attention, you know?
Yes,
Pretty much.
yes. Well, thank you, it's good to
Thank
meet
you.
you.
Nice to meet you.
Good luck to you.
And thank you for letting me attend. I appreciate it.
Okay,
Now,
all right, no, Chris.
who said was that?
So you're up to B in your agenda.
Oh,
That's the
we're
pocket
up
park.
to B in the agenda, it's the pocket park planning,
Christian
okay.
also picked the perfect meeting.
Oh, Chris, yeah. Chris is our representative, isn't he? That's right.
Plant is your downtown
Yes,
district
this
coordinator.
district coordinator.
For Shelburne Falls, Turners Falls, and Northfield.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm Christian LaPlante. I'm an employee of the Chamber of Commerce, but I'm here as the downtown district coordinator for those three towns, specifically Shelburne Falls. You'll recall that around a year ago there was a meeting for Shelburne Falls as part of this rural downtown revitalization project, and they were talking about hiring a downtown district coordinator. That was me. I got hired in July, so I've been here for almost 10 months now. And so I've been busy working on a few different projects in Shelburne Falls, but the one I'm here to talk about with you tonight is the Riverview Park project, which is something that's been before you select board members in the past. This came to my plate because there's been several different folks in the community involved with trying to forward this project and make it happen. Unfortunately, a couple of those have had personal commitments that didn't allow them the time to keep it going. So it kind of fell off a few people's plates for around a year and a half. And so I was asked to kind of take this on, especially with a grant opportunity on the horizon, to actually get this over that initial pre-development hurdle and get this grant application submitted. So as you'll recall, the Riverview Park is the parcel. If there was a window right there, we'd be able to see it over on Conway Street. And the idea there is to create on this vacant parcel that was acquired from Mike McCusker, who was here a few minutes ago, a number of years ago, and install a pavilion, a concrete pad, a ADA accessible ramp so that people, all people, but specifically mainly benefiting people in wheelchairs, would have a great view of the Deerfield River. Initial idea was to also include a spiral staircase that would get you up onto Depot Street. That is not part of what we're talking about right now. I can assure you on that one. I know that's
We've
been
already expressed our opinion about that.
Yep, that previously expressed that would require a lot more conversation. So this is considered phase one, or might only be exactly whatever happens with this, is talking about putting that pavilion in a concrete pad, creating a nice little mini park to be able to enjoy the view of the Deerfield River right here in Buckland. So we do have a grant that's we're going to be seeking to apply for. I've been speaking with Pam quite a bit about the grant. It's the Massachusetts Downtown Initiative implementation grant. You can apply for up to $250,000 in funding with no match. You can apply for another $250K on top of that if you have one-to-one matching funds. This project is hopefully going to be right around that $250K mark. And so there's no expectation that there'd be any funds required from Buckland. It's just seeking your blessing, which you've already given to pursue this project and make it happen. There's a number of different steps between now and the grant. The grant is due June 3rd. I'm here today on the 12th. We're going to be putting together the grant application in its entirety before your meeting on the 26th so that you could review it. And we'd be seeking a certified vote from the select board that you're supporting the grant application and giving permission for Pam would be the one that would officially submit it. Walter Kudnowski is the landscape architect. He's still involved with this. One step that we had to do recently was to get an updated survey of the property. So I was able to solicit that from Eric Findale from Green River Surveyors. We're also soliciting an additional firm to provide a very concrete cost estimate for the project. And that way we can kind of scale back some of the aspects as necessary to fit it under this grant cap of $250,000 because there might be a little bit of leftover funds from the pre-development that was fundraised by community members that we could use for matching funds, but this project hopefully won't go much over that $250,000 number. And we're also working on a plan to create, with the help of some local folks, a plan for all the native plants that would get planted on that hillside after it gets re-landscaped. So I'm just here as mostly just a heads up that this is coming 2 weeks from now for your meeting on the 26th, and for you to have any questions or things you would like to see included in this grant application now while we still have time.
You gonna have a bike rack?
Here's a plan for a bike rack.
Good. Because I think that's initially what was a place for people biking in town.
Yeah, that was the initial idea, was to make this like a bike-themed park. It still will certainly benefit bicyclists, but the theme of it now is really just a park for everyone to enjoy the view of the river.
Is there an access for them to get drinking water or not? Like,
That's a question that will remain to be seen. I'm assuming that might be like a future phase,
Okay.
especially because we're trying to keep it under that $250K number. Obviously, there's the water there, but doing all that digging and adding all the additional pipe would be additional
Right.
cost.
Yeah, keep it.
So a future phase of the project, that one will likely be.
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
I've
Yeah.
met Christian before, so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Be enjoying that.
But yeah, we supported it before, and so without that spiral staircase.
We supported phase 1.
Yeah, gotcha. Because that is a question for you, is that in these designs, obviously there won't be a spiral staircase that gets created through this phase 1. But if you're going to be pouring this concrete pad, you would theoretically put in the like where you would mount a future staircase or something and put the additional supports there. And so that was a question that came up at our Riverview Park Committee the other day, is do we include that in the design, or is that something that's so out the window that we
I think it's out the window.
It's out the window.
You said something very nicely. It's a park where older people can go and sit and watch the river, and we don't want anything obstructing the younger people that go up and eat at the place and can't see, and older also too. But,
For me, it's a safety issue.
Yeah, it's
people
yeah,
climbing on the
wintertime
side,
and- yeah.
showing a video on TikTok, or, who's gonna maintain it with ice, when it's, in the wintertime. I think
So we're still there.
it may look like a beautiful idea, but I don't think it's a practical idea, and,
Gotcha. I can report that back to
Yeah.
Walt and team and let them know that.
yeah, our opinion has not changed on that, so.
Okay.
As.
Great. So yeah, you'll see me in a couple weeks. I'll be busy working on the grant application. Walt's busy working on creating the advanced drawings for it, so you'll be able to see what we're exactly requesting at that 26th meeting, and then we have a week in between, so if you have any tweaks to the grant application or tweaks to the designs, we should have just a little bit of time to implement those.
Thank
Sounds
you.
good.
You got it.
Thanks, Christian.
Of course.
Just because of these two gentlemen here.
Yeah.
I think we should just make them wait.
No, we're not gonna make them
We're
wait
gonna
anymore.
skip over
We'll
to C,
skip
and
it.
we're gonna go to
That's
D.
what I thought Larry was doing.
Well, they're actually here for your documents to sign.
Yeah.
Oh, they
I
are?
mean, they,
Oh, we
have
could've
D,
done it.
Oh,
which is
the-
the request for youth baseball to have a storage container at Cricket. I don't know if you know anything about that, probably not.
I've heard about it, but I don't have any background.
This is not your thing.
Okay.
Okay.
No.
Do we have a,
Oh, they want the one-day liquor license? That's what
Yes.
you're here for?
okay, you're,
That's what they're here for. And I just received, we had like a draft of it, but they
Up to
did
the
bring
mic.
me
Oh,
the,
yes, that's
the
me.
final paperwork tonight, which for a one-day license, that is strictly up to the select board. You are the local licensing authority for a one-day license. So they have filled out the proper paperwork, the payment just arrived.
I saw it coming. Pony Express, it was.
$50.
$50.
They are in the process of getting their insurance because that's a requirement.
Yes.
That's about
to have
$300, isn't
a
it?
one-day
Yeah.
policy.
So yeah, we're
Depends
adding.
what it is, yeah.
Yeah, we're adding to our current policy from the Shelburne Falls Eagles, and so that is, we're gonna include the town of Buckland on that, which is the requirement for the one-day license. So that was all submitted Friday afternoon. As of 1:30 today, they were reviewing, our insurance carrier is
Okay.
reviewing that process, so.
I know for a one-day wedding one, because I had to get it for people, it was $100. I don't know what it is now, but that was over, you gotta go over to Myrick and hit up another person you know well.
Yep.
Yes, very well.
And the event is June 27th, with a rain
Yes.
date of
So what kind of a booth, or how are you gonna be dispensing?
Yeah, so
Who's
we're.
in charge, so
Yeah,
nothing bad happens?
Great question. So we have a bunch of volunteers. The police department is going to be on site as well, so we'll have lots of eyes on. We'll have volunteers, tips certified bartenders. It's going to be, our plan is for just beer, seltzers, that sort of. Nothing crazy with mixed drinks. Having very clear containers for what is being sold from the Eagles. And then we'll have the volunteers checking IDs, wristband system, so that we'll know who's of age. And
This is why your tournament is going on. right?
Yeah,
Yes,
so I
correct.
can speak to it.
Yeah,
Tucker
please.
Jenkins. I'm the president of West County Baseball, so that's the hat I'm wearing. Essentially, we have the Eagles. They're going to be doing the pouring. So we've gone over Cricket Field. We know exactly where the food vendors and the alcohol sales are going to be to keep it in a specific area.
You're gonna stay there drinking next.
Yeah, so it's going to be like
Smart.
if you're looking at the field, it's going to be inside or just around there where the backstop is. So the way, if you're to look at the baseball field, the way the cornhole boards are going to be set is like a fan in the outfield. So you're going to have 8 sets,
Eight
so
sets.
16 total boards that are going to fan out. As the tournament goes on, they will then shrink to a few sets. So that's kind of the process behind it. The Eagles will have their tip certified bartenders running it. We did get approval from the chief of police. We're going to have a detail officer present for the duration of the event as well. And then we're also going to have volunteers for West County Baseball. I mean, more than I can ask for. It's been great assisting with any ruckus.
It worked very well for I was thinking Shelburne, come up to Shelburne School when they had the Oktoberfest
Yep.
and there was no problem serving alcohol there because they stayed in one spot and people were very good, so.
And that's a good thing. It's a relatively, we went down.
Nice community.
Yeah, a month and a half ago, and we're able to look and, it's very closed in there where the gate is. So we're pretty fortunate on the location.
So you need us to sign.
You're gonna make a motion to approve their one-day liquor
Yeah.
license,
Well,
for the corn.
if I could see it, I'd tell you.
They just arrived.
Hot off the press. Okay. Okay. No rain dates. Okay, go to the room. Yep. Oh, there's Tucker. Man, there he is right there. Just had to check where Tucker was, I'd like to make a motion that we, what we're gonna say, approve this one-day liquor license, or who's gonna be taking it, the Eagles or?
It'll be the
The-
Eagles
the
that are gonna
Eagles.
be in charge of the license. I'm currently the
You're the
manager of the liquor licenses at the
Oh,
Shelburne
are you?
Falls Eagles.
Oh,
so-
okay.
Yeah, so it's.
I've been a member there for years, but I don't go down. I don't know what sodas they have.
So I second it.
Okay, and it's been moved and seconded. Accept this. Any further discussion?
No?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Okay.
It's accepted.
Have fun.
I don't know where to sign this.
I think it's on the last.
It should be the very last page. It's at the top. It doesn't really look like a line, but it's printed.
Oh,
Yeah,
there.
That one line right there. Yeah.
This could be ripped off and another one put in its place, huh?
It should be, yeah, I think it was, it's
The
a
way it
box.
printed was.
Yeah, I think we'll both sign this.
That's
if-
fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine. It just occurred to me that the rest of your documents to sign are still sitting downstairs, so I will grab those
Oh,
before you
we'll be
leave
fine.
tonight.
Did you get my edited?
Yes.
Okay.
I just, well, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. We
It
appreciate
sounds, I mentioned Tucker talked about one time, and it sounds like it's going to be kind of interesting, so.
Yeah, we're gonna roll out the publication of the event
Yeah.
probably tonight. And that's how things are going out, so we're starting to fill teams, we're starting to get everything.
So how late's gonna go into the night?
I think the last toss is around 10-ish.
I'll be in bed. Okay, just
So we can't guarantee exactly what it would be.
Yeah.
We've crunched the math to roughly how long we think each game is gonna be. With 32 teams, I think is what we landed on. 32 teams, paring it down, where each team's gonna get 3 games all the way down to a tournament. We've been able to break down the time, so we know roughly when it's gonna end.
Good.
So that way we can make sure we have a buffer in case things take a little longer, people chatting and stuff like that. So, in theory, we're looking at anywhere from 9 to 10 PM where your championship is gonna be. So that gives us that buffer just in case, because we have the detail officer all the way until I think 11:30, so it gives us that.
I like things like this for the town.
There's been a lot of interest just in community coming
It's
to
wonderful.
watch,
I
which
think
has
it's a
been
great idea.
And the good thing is, you know, talking to Jeannie Turner, we're gonna make this a yearly event, so,
Great.
this is kind of our getting things going, and then it'll be easier here on out.
Yeah.
Super.
It's been quite the task. It's like a full-time job for all of us for the last several months, so.
Yeah.
All right, we'll let you get on with your meeting. Get
Yes,
this
All
done.
right, thank you.
And I do thank you.
very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Right.
Did we give them that, or are we gonna make a copy?
No, I gotta wait for their insurance.
We'll wait
and
for
stuff.
the appearance. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
And then I do up a certificate.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. All right, now we have
Wonderful.
annual town meeting recap.
Oh, yes. So one of the items that we need to approve tonight is the election warrant for Alicia. So I will go downstairs and grab that momentarily. With everybody descending on my office this afternoon, it was like
I know.
crazy.
I didn't
crazy.
come visit you today, so.
You didn't. Okay, so just a quick recap of town meeting, because it was definitely an unusual one, different than we've had in the past few years because of the override being a component of everything. So there were more than 150 voters in attendance. The voters all supported all of the spending that we put forth, with the exception of the Mohawk and the Franklin Tech school budget, their operating assessments. After that, those votes, there was definitely some confusion about what that means for the override going forward. And if it was still gonna be necessary, how much that would be. So the $500,000 override is something that the select board voted to put on the ballot before we even knew what was going to happen at town meeting. That override still stands, and that will be voted on at the annual town election on June 2nd.
So we're gonna be paying something to Mohawk no matter what.
Right,
just,
I think that was one thing that maybe wasn't clear
Yeah.
to folks when they voted down the 2 school budgets. There will still be a budget.
yeah, we certainly
So
will.
the other issue is, because we're part of a district, there's 8 different towns that have to vote at their town meetings for these school assessments.
What happened with Charlemont, you know?
Charlemont hasn't voted yet.
Heath,
So-
there's
I thought it was-
three of them, Heath in.
So of we have Ashfield, Buckland, Charlemont, Coleraine, Holly, Heath, and Plainfield. So as of now, Ashfield and Shelburne and Buckland and Holly and Heath have all voted. So,
In Coleraine.
and Coleraine. So Buckland and Coleraine voted no, the other towns have all voted to support so far. But we won't know until Plainfield has their vote on May 30th.
Ooh.
If the school budget, if that assessment to all the various district towns will pass. Our override vote is June 2nd.
But that, we need the override no matter what, simply because
Well, we
even-
have to vote on the override,
Right,
and so because at town meeting, the budget was, the town's operating budget was supported.
Yeah.
And we know we're gonna have to pay the schools,
something.
at the very least, it won't go lower than last year, so we know that we're gonna be still over on our budget. And if the override doesn't pass, and the school budget passes, we're gonna be paying exactly what they asked us to pay, because
Yep.
it's not up to us. Even if we vote no and the other towns in the district vote yes, we have to pay that assessment. So we know we're gonna have to come back for a special town meeting regardless, because we did not vote to pass Tech or Mohawk's budget, and we have to pass some form of that, at some point, because we do. I mean, we're responsible for an
Yes,
assessment.
yes.
So that's where there's like some really kind of, there's a lot of scenarios, because we don't know what's gonna happen with Mohawk's assessments. We don't know what's gonna happen with our override vote on June 2nd. If the voters come and they vote to pass the override for the town, and the Mohawk budget also has passed, it's gonna look very much like what was laid out at town meeting. We're gonna have that $500,000, we're gonna pay all of our town's operating expenses, we're gonna pay both schools, and then we're gonna be putting some in stabilization. If the Mohawk budget fails, we're gonna have to wait 30 days, up to 30 days, for Mohawk to come back with either a revised budget or however they are going to present the budget again to us. If our override has passed, we're gonna be okay to sit and wait for that budget to come. If the override fails, we're gonna have to wait to see what their budget is going to look like in terms of what we're gonna have to cut from our own budget to pay for the school budget as well. So there's lots of moving parts still at this point between now and June 2nd to really understand the impact. Alicia, who's the town clerk, and Kara, who's the treasurer, and we were all talking this afternoon about putting together some sort of a document that we can put online, just so that people understand better what are the scenarios, because there's like 4, basically. You know, you've got override passes, school budget passes, this is one scenario. Override fails, school budget fails, this is another one. Then you could do like override fails, school budget passes. I mean, there's lots of different moving parts, and we don't have 2.5 overrides every year, so this is actually kind of foreign territory for a lot of people. This is not something we do regularly. It doesn't always make sense. People who don't work with municipal finance and budgets all the time and hear all of the jargon that goes along with it, it is admittedly very confusing for people.
But if you put it like you just did to us, the idea that, you know, here's what it is, and out to them somehow, whether it's on, they can't fit it all in there.
Well, we could put together some sort of a one-pager that sort of will give the various scenarios.
They gotta understand, it's because they vote for it, we still may have to pay the full extent for Mohawk.
Right, so the voters definitely spoke at town meeting. They unanimously passed the town's operating budget.
Yes, they did.
Which doesn't include the school budgets. It's everything but the schools basically are in that Article 4 that was passed. It was, I mean, whether that was because many people came to the forum ahead of time and had their questions answered and understood sort of this is where we're at, because the Finance Committee did do a really nice job of kind of presenting where we stood and what it would look like if the override doesn't pass in terms of what's on the table to be cut, which are very real services for the town. I mean, we don't have a lot of extras, so what gets cut if the override doesn't pass is going to be, you know, a pretty drastic cut. We have not determined that yet. That's something that the Finance Committee and the Select Board will need to do rather quickly after June 2nd if we find out that the override doesn't pass. We're going to be tasked, you guys, you and the Finance Committee are gonna be tasked with making those cuts, and we're gonna have to have a special town meeting in June to enact those cuts in order to hit, you know, basically July 1st is when the next fiscal year starts, and in order to save you know, the $500,000 we're not gonna have by not passing an override, there are gonna be some significant cuts.
Yeah.
And usually the last town, Plainfield, is May 30th. So that gives us June.
I mean, a couple days later, we're having our override vote.
Yeah.
So a crystal ball would be super helpful
I'll,
about
I'll,
now.
I'll get us one second.
But we don't have that,
No.
so really, it's just trying to make people clear, and I encourage anyone to call me, stop by, whatever, I'm happy to explain it. Again, it's a lot to absorb and to understand, because there's lots of moving parts on this whole
Can
situation.
I make a suggestion that you also print paper copies, have them available at the library, have paper copies here, and whatever you're going to write, you need to do it by the 21st, the Two-Town News.
Okay.
They have a lot of subscribers there, and if you need help, you both are great writers, so you don't, but if you need any help, I'm always glad to help.
Sure, no, absolutely.
Yeah,
We'll let you read it and see if it makes sense.
Yeah, so Alicia submits things all the time, so she's very familiar with that,
Yeah,
so.
so that's a great idea, and we can certainly do that.
Although the thing is, they come out on, it's supposed to come out on June 1st, sometimes they don't, but.
Yeah, no, we can certainly.
But paper, I think paper, so people, not everybody's, computer savvy, you know.
Right. Yeah, no, sure. Happy to do that.
Put flyers around town.
Yeah, so anyway, that's sort
Yeah.
of the long and the short. But one thing that I want you tonight to do is to make a motion to approve the 2026 town election warrant. Alicia does have that for you to sign, so it can get posted.
Sure.
And I will run downstairs and grab
Okay,
that.
you want now a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the 2026 town election warrant.
Okay,
And that warrant is where it lists the offices, or the, what's the word I'm looking for? Amy, what's the word I'm looking for?
The seats that are
Available for election, who's running, the seats that are open, and it also lists.
it's already been helpful to our town.
I'm not sure if it's simpler. It's also lists the override question.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
basically what is on the ballot
Yeah.
is what you're voting to
Okay.
post,
Oh,
so
all
we can
right.
post it.
Okay,
You wanna make a motion?
we'll do that right now, yeah. I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2026 town election warrant. That's, we're just doing the town election one, so, yeah.
I second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Pam?
Yep,
You've got it.
that's good.
Okay, good.
Sure.
The tech budget that wasn't approved, was that just the operating budget?
Yes.
That wasn't the new school that they're going to?
That's
No,
not until
that's not
October.
Yeah.
October.
Yeah, no, this was just their school
And
budget.
that's a scary one.
It's gonna be, it's a big one.
Put-
So I'm actually on the school committee for tech.
Yeah, but it's a big one.
It is a big ask.
It certainly
I
is.
will admit that it is a big ask. We've been looking at this for 5 years.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
I know it's a big ask. We all know it's a big ask. The timing is not good for anybody's town.
No.
In our district. I don't wanna get into it too much
No,
in the
no.
future meeting, but I was just wondering if it was
Yeah,
just
no,
the
yeah,
budget or.
just the budget.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, now, let's see, we're down to documents to sign. We've got the minutes, the warrants, and minutes from April 28th, 2026, and warrants W 26-23 and WP 26-23, and we'll sign those after, all right?
Do you have to make a motion for that?
I make a
Motion to
motion that
approve.
to approve.
Motion? Okay, I second it, okay.
In favor?
Oh, yes.
Yes, okay, so we'll do that right after,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Okay, we're way down to items not reasonably
Oh, you
anticipated.
got the Memorial Day parade permit.
Oh,
Oh, thank you.
Those three. That's-
sure.
Yeah,
The
and,
declaration.
Chief Barwell signed off on it today.
He did,
He did.
okay. Okay, so, let me see, do I, it's nothing to it, right?
That gives the particulars, probably the last page.
Probably is right here.
Oh, we did not do D, thank you, Cindy. This is why we have two people
Where's-
tonight. We're
where the
just
heck
all
is-
keeping track.
We've been waiting so quiet.
Where's D? Where's D?
D is the request from the Buckland
Yes, we are.
Baseball.
It's been a long meeting, it's been a long
It's
meeting.
been a long meeting. Oh, let's take a look right here and approve the parade first.
Yes,
Yeah.
let's get
Oh,
that
I
done,
got it.
since you've got it out.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the parade for May 25th by the VFW.
I approve. Yeah, I second it, I second
Moved and
it.
seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, that
Isn't it
passes.
weird that now, Memorial Day is so early? It's so odd,
Yeah, yep. And now we'll jump to what we forgot somewhere.
Yeah,
Back up at the top.
We've been reminded by our recreation department to,
Well, she sort of, kind of.
that's what I'm saying. I'm tying this in. I'm tying this in. Okay, there's a request from the Buckland Shelburne Youth Baseball to place a storage container at Cricket Field.
Yes. So we had a request from Jeremy Kingsbury, who is he president of the Buckland Shelburne Youth Baseball, I think? They have been wanting to, I guess, for several years, and they may have even asked permission previously to do this, but it's been so long that they wanted to basically ask
Sure.
again. They want to put a temporary storage container at Cricket Field to hold like all their bases and supplies and whatnot. He's estimating it to be about an 8 by 12 by 14 structure. He sent me a photo, which I tried to get. He of course sent it to me here. It's a Facebook post, so it didn't really come out. But
Oh.
it's basically like a two-door, has two doors, it
I'll
has
look
like a
that up.
small
It's not-
ramp.
it's not
It's
bad.
just like a metal.
Someone building it, or is it,
No, it's something you can purchase.
again, yeah.
And so how, will it be there in the wintertime, or?
I don't know. Do you know, Sydney, how temporary? I assume it's gonna.
What do you mean by temporary?
Temporary means it can be
meaning
movable.
It's not, right, it's not gonna
it's
be on
movable,
like
can
a
be taken
concrete,
down,
or
right.
it's not gonna be, have a foundation.
So it could be there could be there 10 years from now. Yeah, it's just,
I don't think they plan on taking it in and out. I
No.
think for
Oh,
as
okay.
long as there's baseball
I-
down there, they're going to use it to
Correct.
store the.
Oh, okay.
store the
When I hear
stuff.
temporary means it'll only be there for a few
Right,
months, you
right,
know?
more meaning it's not permanently.
not
affixed
permanently,
to the
yeah.
property.
Yeah. Okay, then I would like
And
to,
they're paying for it, everything, so then, okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we allow the Buckland Shelburne Youth Baseball to put a storage unit at Cricket Field.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it's approved, okay. Now, where were we?
You're back to items not
But,
reasonably
okay,
anticipated.
items not reasonably anticipated by the chair 48 hours in advance. That's one of them right there, okay?
No.
And anything come up? I have nothing. Do you, Pam?
Hey,
Joan?
No, I don't have
Next.
anything. I think we heard a lot tonight.
Yep, select board concerns?
So the idea is to get this information out, but not have an informational hearing, is that what you're saying?
You're talking back the town, the override
Yeah.
paperwork?
Yeah.
I think in the interest of time and planning, I think it'd be easier to pull that off than to pull together another
Okay.
informational hearing.
It also might be helpful to send a press release to the paper, to Johnny,
Yeah, Johnny may be seeing this meeting tonight and he may reach out to me.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. All right, town administrator's report?
So the only thing I really have tonight, because I knew it was gonna be a long meeting and I actually unfortunately have to leave
Yes, you
very
do.
shortly for
You do.
another meeting. I have a time off request for myself.
How dare you?
Probably right in the middle of this battle here.
Kind of. It's actually May 26th through the 29th, which you have a meeting on May 26th, and I will promise I'll get it all ready for you ahead of time, and Clint had better be back for that meeting. Yes, my daughter is coming home from DC that week after Memorial Day, because my brother usually comes up to be part of the parade, and we plan to take a little family vacation because I've been working a lot.
You've gone above and beyond, believe
So
me.
anyway, so I'm just asking for your approval for that request.
You have mine, does he have yours?
Yeah, she has mine, so.
Okay.
Do we have to make a, do we have to
Do
make
you
a
have to make a
motion?
motion for that? Will that make you happy?
Sure, then I can let
Make a
Kara
motion.
know.
No, you're the
No,
chair,
you can
you're
make
the
a
chair, you're the chair.
I'd like to make a motion that our town administrator may take May 26th to the 29th off. Reasons
second
to
it.
be kept secret.
I second it.
It's moved to second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You're all set there.
All right.
It's kind of a little bit like a comedy show when it's just you and I.
We're getting tired. We're getting tired. We're getting tired.
You
It was-
are. So you just have your announcements left.
Announcements, oh gosh, announcements in upcoming meetings. Select board meeting to be announced.
Which, May 26th is your next one.
So
It does
that's,
seem like you have things to put on that agenda.
so wait a minute now, so it says to be announced here in your note, but then it's telling me you're announcing it.
Well, unless you decide you want to not have it on the 26th.
No, we should.
No, that's fine. Excuse me.
5 PM, yeah.
And then the annual town elections are, the 2nd of June, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. That's right here, right? Yeah, okay. And then clean up bulky waste day is May 16th, 2026 at Mohawk from 9 to noon.
Okay.
Okay. Other than that, I think we've covered everything we wanted to and a little more.
Oh, no, I want to say one thing. I really enjoy town meetings. You know, it's really, people
Democracy.
put so much work in, democracy, and I don't think it's messy democracy. I think
no,
it's
it's
the
not.
truest form of democracy, is in these little towns, you know, where you have, anyone can, as a registered voter can go. But, you know, people like, our boards put, you know, an administrator put so much work into, you know, getting the budget done, and you know, everybody was very cordial and respectful. It was, you know, it was a good meeting. Little confusion because there's all these what ifs, you know, what if this passes, what if this doesn't pass, you know, but you know, hats off to Buckland.
But it is democracy, and I think just like tonight is what it was, you know, to make sure you gave the one who came with all the information fair time, but give everybody else just as much fair time. And at the end, when they say, you know, she wants her house protected, just like you do. You know, it's important for them to see both sides, you know, and sometimes the people who are talking don't see the other side. And tonight was wonderful. I was really, and I don't know the answer to that. We can't control that.
Yeah. But we'll need to talk about what the next step will be.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll reach out to DOT to ask them a few questions that came up tonight, and I will certainly let you know.
Thank you.
Okay.
That would be.
I mean, we could even go out on a site tour. You know, meet them there, and then they can explain what their design entails.
Yeah, and I think even more than that, I'd like to know, you know, what they're gonna tolerate. They might say no, absolutely, because they said no to the sidewalk on the other side. They want the sidewalk on this side. They said it's due to safety and due to considerations of the land and stuff, and they're the experts.
Yeah, well,
So,
safety is the most important thing in this
it sure is. I'm
situation.
glad to hear that a lot of people talked about that,
Yeah.
safety. Yeah, and as they said, build a sidewalk and worry about the snow later. But that's a comment. Okay, listen, I guess it's time that we're going to end this tonight's meeting of the Buckland Select Board. It is 6:53. All in favor?
I'm a favorite, aye.
Aye, Jesus, we're
Yeah,
done.
let's go.
At 6:50. Well, it was a long meeting. It was a
It
good
was a long meeting.